What is going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and here we are at the start of 2018. We have the whole year ahead of us, all chock-a-block, jam-packed, full of game releases. Some top quality stuff out there, some stuff that is coming soon, some stuff we know that for sure is coming this year, and some stuff that's kind of, well, let's just say it's kind of vague intentionally. Some stuff has no dates, some stuff doesn't even exist, or potentially does exist, we just don't know about it. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to go over my top picks and what I am looking forward to the most of 2018. Now, I'm going to break this video into two sections. The very first section of this video is going to be stuff that we know is definitely coming out this year, or it's at least announced to have a 2018 release date. Of course, over the course of the year, things could change, and maybe a game gets delayed or cancelled or whatever. But as it stands, the first section is going to be games that are scheduled to come out in 2018. And the second section I'm going to actually have is kind of a mixture of two potential sections. It's stuff that we know is in the works but has no release date. The game has maybe been announced or been talked about, but there's no actual release date for it. Or maybe some of it's not even fully confirmed just yet to even exist or have a release date. But I'm not going to go too over the top and overboard with it. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here for the next 45 minutes listing out potentially every single thing ever. So the second section is going to be that kind of stuff, and as well I'll just sprinkle in one or two little I really hope and wish kind of things in there too. So let's get going. Anyway, first up we are looking at Valkyria Chronicles 4, the next entry in Valkyria Chronicles series. We already have one on the PS3, the PS4 and the PC, which is a fantastic, amazing game, by the way. Go and buy it if you like that kind of thing and you haven't played it yet. It's absolutely amazing. Or even I have a let's play of the whole game on the channel, so you can check that out if that's what you're into and you're not sure about it. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is going to be amazing. I can't wait for it. Coming out on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, but sadly not PC. So I'll get it on PS4 Pro anyway, but that's the benefit of being a gamer rather than a fanboy. Another one to mention is Life is Strange Before the Storm, because there is a bonus episode. Despite the three main ones already being out, there is going to be a bonus episode released shortly after the start of this year. The main game focused on Chloe and Rachel, but this one is actually going to focus on Chloe and Max. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do it in relation to Before the Storm. Monster Hunter World is coming up after that. The game is actually out this month in January on Xbox One and PS4. Personally, I'm waiting till later on in the year, because it was actually today, on the 3rd of January, that it was announced that the PC version will be coming out in roughly fall or autumn, if you will, of 2018. I'm a little bit disheartened about that. I was thinking maybe it'll be like a month or 2 or 3 after the console release before the PC version comes out. I'll have to wait another 6 or 7 or 8 months or so, which is a bit disheartening, but whatever. It's going to be good when I do get around to it. The Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, can't wait for that game, or that collection. I'll be buying that on PC because I've got my arcade stick, which works on PC, and PC for life. Free online play for the win. Next up we got Shenmue 3, a game that's been over a decade. I believe it's going to be 16, maybe 17 years in the making at this point, and it's scheduled to come out at the end of 2018. I can't wait to see what happens in the next installment of Ryo's Adventure, because you guys know I am a huge Shenmue fan. Coming out on PS4 and PC, having backed the Kickstarter, I have a special backers only physical PC edition coming to me, so I can't wait to check that out. Kingdom Hearts 3 scheduled for this year as well, which means I'm going to have to play through all the Kingdom Hearts games again this year in preparation for Kingdom Hearts 3. Hopefully they do announce a PC version down the line. Chances are it won't come out at the same time, because I'm very worried about the performance of those games. If Final Fantasy 15 was anything to go by, as is Kingdom Hearts 2.8, I'm definitely worried. And of course, the Secret of Mana remake. I was originally a bit skeptical about this. It's coming out next month on the 15th of February, and I was a little bit skeptical of it at first, mainly because of the severe changes in art style, voice acting, etc., when it came to remaking the best game of all time and my personal favorite game in existence. Naturally, I have to play it, but I've warmed up to the idea and I've opened the mind a little bit. I'm going in with as much of an open mind as possible, as one can have when remaking someone's most favorite an amazing personal game of all time. Be sure to check out that when it comes to a Let's Play on the channel on the 15th of February. Final Fantasy 15 on PC is coming up next. Now, you guys might know I actually don't like Final Fantasy 15 as it is. I think the combat is absolutely awful and makes it basically an unplayable mess. The performance of the game on the consoles is also a severely hampering factor. When it comes to PC, hopefully some of those will be alleviated with real resolutions, real visual fidelity, and most importantly, a solid 60 plus frames per second. Even if it is 144 gigabytes, I'm still looking forward to giving it a try. Next up we got Metro Exodus. I'm a huge fan of the two previous Metro games. I've played them multiple times, both in their original forms and the Redux versions. And I usually find myself playing both of the games at least once a year, if not even more. Not sure how it's going to go with the whole semi-linear aspect of the game, in that some of the levels are linear, some of them are semi-open world. Because we've all seen that when a game does open world extremely poorly, like Metal Gear Solid 5, it can just become a complete and utter shitshow. And now is where the Persona fanboy and the Atlus fanboy of me comes out. Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight and Persona 5 Dancing Star Knight. Can't wait for both of these games. All Persona games have amazing soundtracks, so you guys know this is something I'm definitely going to be checking out. And a Shadow of the Colossus 2 remake as well, on PS4, done by Bluepoint Games, not just an upscale or remaster of the original PS2 or even the PS3 remaster, but this one is a full-on remake. Bluepoint Games do absolutely phenomenal work. They do not have a bad product in their name, in their library, in their history whatsoever. In fact, I've actually talked about it before, where I've said that any company looking to remaster or remake a game, give it to Bluepoint Studios. They do phenomenal work. I'm sure anyone out there who's played any of their games knows that they are the best at what they do. And coming up to our last confirmed game of 2018, Ni no Kuni 2. While the combat system does have me slightly perplexed and slightly worried because I don't think the combat looks as good as the first one, the first game was fantastic. A lot of it seems to be carrying over in the style and aesthetic, and as well as many of the mechanics of the gameplay, and I really hope that despite the combat changes, Ni no Kuni 2 still turns out to be a quality JRPG. I can't wait to play it on PC. I have my King's Edition already pre-ordered, and I'm looking forward to March because it has been delayed by 2 months. So now we're going to move on to the section of the video where we talk about stuff that I'm looking forward to that doesn't have a solid release date. It might not even have a 2018 release date. Some of them have been showed off, but there are stuff and games that have been shown off in some capacity, as well as a couple of games in there that may or may not exist that I really want to see. So first up, it would be completely unfair if I didn't list this one first on the list. It's currently 3rd of January, which means it is the Save Shenmue HD Tweetathon. So naturally, I want to see the Shenmue HD collection released on all 4 main platforms in 2018. I know I would absolutely play through them both again and again and again. Moving along, we've got the Resident Evil 2 remake. Something that we haven't seen anything about or talked about or whatever ever since its first confirmation and announcement. Now, there have been rumors out there at the moment that the game will be a full-on third-person shooter, which is very, very worrying and disheartening. I know that all of us as Resident Evil fans, as Resident Evil 2 fans, we want this game remade akin to the GameCube remake of the original Resident Evil. What they could do with modern graphics and modern technology with that photorealistic art style because of static backgrounds and all that, that is what we want. We want the same fixed camera angles. We want the survival horror. We want the tense moments where we can hear stuff off screen but we can't see it. So hopefully we do see a bit more for that this year, or maybe even a potential release this year. Now these next two are just kind of almost expected from me at this point. Actually, not just two, but the next few. Given Microsoft's lack of games and Microsoft's real lack of exclusives and big first-party AAA games over the last 2 years, I really think this year we will at least see Halo 6 most likely, and possibly even Gears of War 5. I think we'll be most likely just seeing one of them, and in which case it would be Halo 6, so they could do Gears 5 next year. But even after the disappointment in general that was Halo 5, the legendary ending for Halo 5 set up a potentially amazing Halo 6. So hopefully that works out. As well as Microsoft have said that going forward, all the Halo games will be coming to PC at launch as well. So I have that to look forward to. And this is just a little bit of a wild pipe dream, but I would love to see PC ports of Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. More so the Master Chief Collection, but I'd like to have all of them on there at once. Shifting gears a second, we'll go back to Detroit Become Human. I'm a fan of David Cage games. In fact, I did a playthrough of Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy Remastered on the channel last year. Heavy Rain was my game of the year for 2010, and I will admit Beyond Two Souls was very lackluster and disappointing. But Detroit Become Human looks pretty good. It looks very interesting, especially with a lot of the topics that they're going to touch on and some of the choices that have to be made. I've personally avoided all the press and all the interviews and all the events and all that they go and have for Detroit Become Human, because they actually show off some of the choices and the effects and the situations in the game, something I don't want to be spoiled on, and I want to experience everything for myself. As far as I know, it doesn't have a 2018 release date, but I'll still be getting it regardless. Although knowing how David Cage works, it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't come out till 2020 on the PlayStation 5. So, Metroid Prime 4. While I did very much enjoy Metroid Prime 1 and 2, I did not care for 3. I think they are pretty damn good games. I don't think they're the masterpieces that everyone says they are, but I'm really curious to see what Nintendo pull out for Metroid Prime 4. And I will say this, if the game doesn't run at 60 frames per second, there will be many issues, especially because it's a first-party title. Sticking with Nintendo for a second, we have Pokemon. Yes, there is a main series Pokemon entry going to be coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, it's unconfirmed that if it will be out in 2018 or not. In fact, just recently, one of the heads of the Pokemon company actually said don't expect it in 2018. It could possibly release, but don't expect it as a standard. Now, he could have just been saying that, of course, to not give an announcement, to maybe keep it for E3 or whatever it is. But to have a main series, main entry Pokemon game on a home console for the first time ever is going to be fantastic. Now, I know someone is already saying, but Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Coliseum, and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. No. Just no. Which brings us to my next game. Fire Emblem. That's right, Nintendo have confirmed there is another Fire Emblem game in development. And it's going to be the first Fire Emblem game to grace home consoles since the Wii. So that's a pretty big deal. I can't wait to see what they do. Intelligent Systems makes phenomenal games, both in the Fire Emblem series and the Advance Wars series, or the Wars series I suppose you could call it. And since they don't seem to be making any kind of Switch Wars, I can't wait to see what they pull off with Fire Emblem. I believe it was originally announced with a 2018 release date, but the fact that we haven't heard anything about it since is why it's fitting into this section of the video. Now, just to give someone else a break for a second, because we've been on a little bit of a Nintendo run for the last couple of games, let's go back to Sony for a second. And we've got The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not a huge fan of many of Sony's first-party titles, but I will say The Last of Us was a great game. Something I generally play on the PS4 in a remastered version, maybe once every 6 months or so, and I really can't wait to see what they do with The Last of Us Part 2. And just because I can't stay away from the Switch as it stands just at the moment, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Granted, it's going to be basically impossible to top Persona 5, the Shin Megami Tensei main series is still a pretty damn good series. And I can't wait to see what they do with Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Nintendo Switch. I promise guys, this will be the last Switch entry in the video, but we've also got the Virtual Console. It's still up in the air at the moment, and God knows how it's going to go. Nintendo being Nintendo, they'll probably fuck it up somehow. I really hope they don't, but I don't have faith with how they've handled it over the last while. Just like many things with the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully they don't force a subscription style service, hopefully they don't drip feed us games, and hopefully it launches with a massive wide variety of games and of quality games and platforms, including some new ones like maybe the GameCube and some non-Nintendo platforms as well. Now, Borderlands 3, something I'm absolutely dying for, something that has been teased, something that is officially known to be in existence and in development, but strangely enough hasn't had a full proper announcement. I'm hoping we see Borderlands 3 this year. I will put ungodly amount of hours into Borderlands 3 on PC when it does launch. And I'm already giving you advance warning. When Borderlands 3 comes out, this channel will, by accident, become a Borderlands 3 channel for a while, basically. I'll still do other stuff, but there'll be a lot of Borderlands 3 stuff on there. Now guys, we're almost at the list. We're just about done, so I will throw on this one here as well. We have Dying Light 2. Not Dead Island 2, but actually Dying Light 2. There's supposedly a second Dying Light game in development from Techland, the guys who did Dying Light 1, which was a great game, and I'd really like to see a better, more updated, newer, improved version. The only thing that I remain skeptical about with Dying Light 2 is that we haven't seen anything at all for it. There was talk about it once when it was first basically pseudo-announced, and that has been it. And the other thing that has me worried about Dying Light 2 is that it might be published by WB Games, Warner Brothers Games. As you guys may or may not know, I don't buy any games published by Warner Brothers anymore. I boycott them as a company just like I do EA and Ubisoft, and it would kill me because I would really like to play Dying Light 2. So moving along, we're saving the biggest and best for last for most people, which is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not much is known about the remake as it stands. We do know they're expanding on the amount of content in it, that it could incorporate stuff like some of the films or some of the additional games, as well as brand new content in general. Not to mention the whole episodic release thing and the fact that it's got no proper window. I don't think we'll even see a single episode of Final Fantasy VII this year because Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out this year, so I'd say the majority of their focus is probably going to that. I realise Square Enix have multiple development teams, but I'm sure a lot of the resources are going to the game that's coming out sooner. Having said all that, I would like to see the Final Fantasy VII Remake come out this year. I really don't like the episodic thing, but let's just stick with it for a second and say I'd at least like to see one episode this year, assuming that episode is going to give us 50 hours of gameplay and not 4.5. And there we go. Just before I end the video, I do want to say the very last one, I was saving this to fit in no particular section of the two previous ones, but Metal Gear Solid HD Collection 2 and 3 on Xbox One backwards compatibility, just for the lols. And actually, you know what, while we're at it, throw on Resident Evil Code Veronica X on backwards compatibility as well. So that's it, that's my entire list. Holy crap, this video turned out to be way longer than I originally planned. But regardless, let me know in the comments section below what you think of my list of all this stuff that I'm looking forward to, the ones that we do know are coming out, the ones that are kind of up in the air and that we don't know about, and more importantly, I want to hear from you guys. What games are you most looking forward to in 2018? Be them games that we know are supposed to come out in 2018, games that we know exist but may not be coming out in 2018, or games that we possibly don't even know exist but potentially do. Hint hint, Shenmue HD Collection. Let me know your guys' lists in the comments section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.